Welcome to day 4 of reviewing every full-length album ever recorded by a member of Alter Bridge. We're digging further into the band's origins with their parent group Creed's debut album, My Own Prison. So let's get started. Believe it or not, I've never actually listened to Creed, so going into this project, I had somewhat of a clean slate. As a result, my reviews of this record and following ones are based solely on first impressions, and my opinions of these albums are subject to change as I continue to listen to them. My Own Prison was released in the summer of 1997 through 2 different record labels, Blue Collar Records and Wind Up Records, the latter becoming their sole label throughout the rest of the band's career. While not originally a big hit, the album was met with overwhelming positivity upon its second release, peaking at number 1 on multiple charts and becoming certified 6 times platinum by 2002. It's widely considered to be one of the most successful debut albums of all time, selling more than 15 million copies worldwide. Because of this record, Creed was an overnight sensation, but how well has the music held up 25 years after its initial release? The short answer is, it depends. Creed was both revered and reviled for their music, so if you enjoyed their music back then, you probably still enjoy it now. However, anyone who hated Creed would say that the album sucks, regardless of the actual quality of the music. In the end though, I've got to go with my gut instinct and say that My Own Prison is not great. Almost always, I found myself bored and yearning for something different. Had this album been instrumental or maybe had a different vocalist, I think I would have liked it a lot. Mark, Brian, and Scott Phillips all deliver solid performances, but Scott Stapp's vocals bother me. There are like a million different vocal styles across this record, but I only enjoyed a couple of them, namely when he would just sing without any kind of overdramatic manipulation. On the one hand, switching things up and trying new ideas can be commendable, but on the other hand, too much variety is just inconsistency. I never knew what to expect, but in an apprehensive way, not a fun, exciting way. An example of this is in the first 2 tracks. Scott's voice sounds radically different on the verses in Ode than in the previous song, and I briefly wondered if there was another vocalist, like maybe Mark was singing. And while we're on that subject, the vocals in the chorus of What's This Life For are god awful. It genuinely sounds like someone's wailing the lyrics from another room. I know that that's kind of the point because they're upset and questioning life and screaming out at God, but it's so hard to listen to. This is probably the only song from this record that I will actively avoid going forward, since the vocals were just that obnoxious and grating. On the flip side, something lacking from this record is a diversity in tempos. 7 of the songs fall within a range of 20 BPM, and the remaining 3 songs are all within 5 BPM of one another. A degree of repetition is to be expected from any album, but this amount is laughable. Almost every song felt exactly the same because the pulse was the same, and I had a really hard time telling songs apart even after listening to them a half a dozen times. Only a couple of tracks like Ode, In America, and One stood out, but mainly because of Scott Phillips' drumming. If nothing else, this record has some good drums. The final reason I didn't enjoy My Own Prison is because of the lyrics. I won't get into it too much, but I will say that my political views and religious beliefs differ from Scott Stapp's, so there are some stances on this record that I disagree with. From a writing standpoint, his lyrics are intricate and well written, but the topics just don't jive with me, and that puts a damper on the rest of the experience. It's tough to convince myself to keep listening to a song when it conflicts with my beliefs, regardless of the quality of the music. In this instance though, the music just wasn't entertaining enough to make it worthwhile. Whether you love it or hate it, My Own Prison was an important milestone in 90s rock, but I think there are many better albums to check out if you want to revisit the turn of the millennium. For a final score, I'm giving My Own Prison by Creed 5.8 out of 10. What's your favorite song from My Own Prison? Let me know down in the comments. Tomorrow's Friday, and we're circling back around to Myles Kennedy with the Mayfield 4's debut album, Fallout. In the meantime, if you've missed any of the other reviews in this series, then you need to check out this playlist. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.